There are just some guns out there that no matter what content you're up against, whether it's a raid or a dungeon or with your friends or fire team, there are just guns in the game that will just never leave your weapon slot. And so in this video, I'm going to share with you 3 of my favorite weapons that I've never let go of ever since playing Destiny 2, or at least up until now, and for the near future moving forward. So all that being said, if you enjoy the content on this channel and you want to see more Destiny 2 content or sci-fi content, then be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now let's get straight into the video. Ever since obtaining the Indebted Kindness, I have been in love with this sidearm. It doesn't feel like a sidearm. It feels like a pocket rocket launcher, and it just is so satisfying to use. Its versatility is wonderful, its perk selection is vast, and the rocket assisted frame is just unlike any other. And it's just consistent, and that's perhaps the biggest factor behind it, is I can take it to any content, whether it's a raid or a dungeon onslaught run, a nightfall run. The Indebted Kindness does the job. And also the biggest thing to me is the ammo economy on this. For such a small tool, it has so much ammo that you can utilize. So even if you maybe miss a few shots, you have such a large magazine that you can just nail targets left and right and just see them explode. And depending if you're running, Arc or whatever the case may be. In my case, I love Arc. Arc is my favorite subclass in the game. So whenever I run Arc Hunter, having Indebted Kindness is just the perfect synergy, because I can blind depending on what fragment I'm using. In most situations, I'm using blind, so therefore I can just blind things, therefore giving me a chance to just get my space and just blow things up whenever I had the chance. But Indebted Kindness is just such a versatile tool, and right now I'm currently rocking with the Adagio Loose Change perk combination. I've been searching and itching for a Volt Shot one, but I think Adagio has served this purpose quite well. I have over 10,400 kills now on this gun, and surprisingly enough, Adagio does work. Like, it does a lot of damage, surprisingly enough, against even bosses, against champions. Like, it cooks, and I was surprised. Like, I was really surprised about how Adagio works so well. And then with Loose Change, I just get that additional increase to my reload speed and my aim assist. So there's just a lot of great benefits behind running that. And again, I was really taken aback by it, because typically you really want to have that Volt Shot as your perk. It's a quintessential asset for any Arc main out there. But I was really surprised by the combination of Adagio Loose Change, and it just did so well for me. So Indebted Kindness is a gun that I will never, ever take out of my weapon slot. It'll always be there for me. It is really a weapon that provides long-term value. And if you're able to get one yourself in the Warlord's Ruin, I highly recommend doing so, because it really will take you like above and beyond. Like, it's such a great tool to have. It does so much damage, and again, if you pair it well with Arc, or just even any class in general, it just does a lot of damage on its own. So that being said, let's move on to the next weapon. This section for me, I think, was the toughest out of all the sections, because rocket launchers are honestly so great. They're amazing in so many ways. They have such great utility, and depending on what you're doing, many of them have their own respective qualities that can make content easier, and dealing with different bosses or enemies, whatever the case is. There are so many different options. You have the Gallahorn, for example. You have the likes of, Apex Predator, Cold Duello, Sleepless, Blowout, Crux Termination. That one, to me, it breaks my heart, because Crux Termination to me was the rocket launcher that I used for so long. Those in my community, you know, I love Crux. I really do. I really do. Because again, it's Arc. I'm an Arc main. I love Arc so much. But Dragon's Breath, I gotta put that one above everything, man. Dragon's Breath to me, just, it's a different beast. It's a different monster. Whenever I pick up the Dragon's Breath, I feel like I'm on cloud 9, maybe cloud 10. I don't know what cloud I'm on, but I'm on a cloud somewhere really high in the sky, and I'm just blowing everything up below me and laughing. Just seeing everything ignite and seeing bosses completely explode, and I get to pick up fire sprites and I get to buff my character. It's just fantastic. It's such a great rocket launcher. It's consistent in terms of its damage, the utility it provides. It doesn't matter if you're running with Arc, Strand, Stasis. Of course, if you're running Solar, it's even better. But it doesn't matter. Regardless of what you run, Dragon's Breath just provides that long-term consistent value. The damage output is ridiculous, and it's just fun to use. Just being able to shoot off your other weapons and then having the rocket just be ready for you to just blow up in that boss's nutsack is always fun. It's just so satisfying to just see every ad just completely erased, seeing orange and all this explosion happening on screen. It's just, it's a very the feeling is almost undescribable at times, but it really is that great. It's just a great rocket launcher. So for me, I definitely would say Dragon's Breath is a tool that will never leave my inventory. So that being said, let's move on to the next section. But of course, let me share some honorable mentions along the way. This section was quite tough as well, because, you know, picking from a large assortment of weapons within Destiny 2, the catalog of weapons is beyond thought in this game. So coming up with an honorable mention was definitely a tough one for me, but I think after consideration and review, I feel like Nation of Beasts to me speaks to me. It's funny because we talked about Dragon's Breath being a beast, and now we have Nation of Beasts, but I think it's for good reason. The Nation of Beasts is a fantastic hand cannon. The sound design is amazing, so big shout outs to the sound designers for this one, because I think this is perhaps the main reason why I love it so much, is because when it shoots, it's unlike any other hand cannon in the game. Most other hand cannons have a very powerful burst sounding feel to it, but Nation of Beasts, it's like, I don't know how to describe it, but every shot you take, it's like a combination of a bullet but a laser at the same. I don't know, it's hard to describe, but this, for those who use it, you know what I'm talking about. The sound behind it is so satisfying, and it's also reliable, it's consistent, and depending on the perks you have, in my case I have Explosive Payload and Dragonfly on it, and it does wonders. It does great. And of course, maybe I'm biased, but it's Arc as well, so it pairs well with Arc. It's just a fantastic tool to use. So for me, my honorable mention has to go to the Nation of Beasts. It's just a great hand cannon. And don't get me wrong, there are plenty of other hand cannons I love. I'll talk about them in another video, but in this case, this mention goes out to Nation of Beasts. So let's move on to the last one. So I'm going to come out and say this, that initially Tiku's was a bow that I did not like at all. I was just not a big fan of the whole, hip fire first and ADS to finish off targets. I was just like, give me a bow that I can just hip fire, shoot, and call it a day. I wanted to play the Hanzo Power Fantasy in Overwatch, just, headshot, dink, see ya. But Tiku's was different, and it certainly woke me up to a different approach to how to utilize bows in Destiny 2. And I think that was perhaps the turning point for me, where I started to appreciate it more because it was different. It wasn't like your typical bow that you can just hip fire from and, you know, pray that you get a headshot. It was a bow that took some work, and that work yielded great results once you learn to really optimize and take advantage of a lot of the creativeness that the weapon provides. And to me, I think that's the huge selling point of TQs. It's a bow that at its core is a creative bow. It's a bow that you can really take advantage of and make use of in different circumstances. Whether you're in a GM run and you're trying to play defensively, or you want to just kill things and be offensive, like learning to play different roles with TQs is what really makes it fun. And I think mastering it is also the added benefit that comes with it too, because unlike other weapons that are pretty easy to pick up and play, like, you know, pick up AR, shoot, boom, 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 dead. TQs, it requires a little bit more finesse. Like you have to obviously know what target you want to focus on, or targets you want to focus on, and strategically aim your shot to make sure you're igniting the right targets at the right time. And there's just, again, that complexity and depth and creativeness, I think, is what really makes TQ stand out to me the most, and why I have never let it go since obtaining it. Now, again, having to go through the catalyst phase was annoying for sure, but I think once I was able to get through that phase of obtaining the catalyst, I think from there the value of TQs really elevated. And to me, again, ever since then, I fell in love with it and never let go of it. It's just such a versatile tool. You can use it with whatever subclass you want, but of course, if you have solar, it's all the more better. But it has this consistent long-term value that I love, and because of that depth that I mentioned earlier that it has, you can really take this to, you know, any level you want, and it all comes down to you behind the wheel. So that being said, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more of my favorites, whether it's armor or weapons, then be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And of course, if you want to see more content, then click on the videos on screen. And I'll see you next time, alright? As always, New Warriors, stay strong, keep fighting, and may the force be with you all, always. Alrighty, take care, see you again soon. Peace.